Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mpoomy Ledwaba and thank you so much for subscribing and for watching the video. I know you guys have been anticipating this day. Today is a really special one. On behalf of Lux, I am honored to host two strong women who are changing how the world looks at femininity and women power. I mean, I think we all know that Lux, being a woman-centric beauty brand, has always advocated for women's rights to femininity and apologetic beauty without the fear of being judged. So I'm not alone. First off, we'll start with Caster, who is joining us on the other side. Hi, Caster.
Hi everyone. I hope you're doing good.
Caster Semenya, who is a two-time women's 800-meter Olympic champion, a three-time 800-meter world champion, and double Commonwealth Games middle distance gold medalist. And as we know, she's fighting to overturn a ban from World Athletics that has stood in the way of her running any 400 to 1,500 meter races unless she takes hormone drugs. Together with Lux on the Born This Way campaign, we will be raising awareness and standing together to overturn this ban. I love the Born This Way campaign that Lux has initiated. And just in case the audience is wondering how you can show your action, I mean, we can't all make big signs, but we have a way where you can contribute towards your case. I know Lux has already, I think, contributed 350,000 rand towards your case. So we do have a link in the description box. And if you do want to donate, please join the cause, share your money, share the link, tell other people all about it. Thank you once again, Caster, for joining us today. I'm really excited to hear about your journey and to also just hear how we can support you on your case that is ongoing.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Always, as an athlete, I think we need to give other people chance, to understand, what we're going through, in this business and the challenges that we come across, and also, so they can know that we are always here for them, and so they can understand that if they need any assistance, we are here to fight for them, and that's why we are here. And I think today, this is a platform where people can understand, where I'm coming from, the background, how I overcome my challenges and all those things. But this is all about them today. I'm just here, for them, and then just to make sure that they understand my journey. Also as an individual, and understand that I'm a human being, and I also feel sometimes I make it look impossible that I breathe, but it is what it is.
Thank you so much. I am joined by the Zozibini.
Not but okay.
I was literally just sharing with you that we were actually supposed to do something earlier in the year, and I was so bummed that it didn't happen. But
everything happens for a reason. I was supposed to be here now talking about this and doing this.
And it's impactful. I do want to also share who you are. People do know, but just to give that intro, Zozi is a model and former PR executive. I didn't know that. She was a semi-finalist in Miss SA 2017 and returned in 2019 to not only be crowned as Miss SA but also Miss Universe, and also the first in history to win with Afro textured hair. Zozi, I know you're also a Lux Ambassador, an advocate for women, gender equality, mental health stigmas, and now you're also on the big screens.
I mean, that's a mouthful.
What are you not doing?
I mean, it's so incredible being young, African and black at the moment. Because we just have so many opportunities in front of us, and when people ask me, what do you want to do next? I say anything. Anything, because it's possible. Because we've seen people like Caster doing it, and you look at her and you relate to her story because she has a very South African story of the underdog, of coming up of a country that has gone through so much in order to be, you know, where we are today.
Yeah.
And so hearing you say back those things
It's
to
just
me
like,
about me is
yeah.
still, you know, so mind blowing to me. But, you know, I accept it with open arms
Yeah.
and share it with the whole world in hopes that they too can, you know, take from it
Yeah.
to become.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I have questions for you, icebreakers. I need
All right.
to just so we can get to know each other. So I'm gonna go back and forth.
Okay.
Caster, starting with you, if you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be, and who would have to make it?
Pap. That, you know, that's a traditional meal, and I have to make it myself.
Why did I know that answer was coming?
You know me. I'm authentic. I think I believe in my roots. You know where I'm coming from, and that's what makes me special. But then I'll be the one who prepared the most because I'm the best. You know, I'm the best cook, so it should be me because yeah.
I love that.
Okay, take your crown, take your throne, keep your pub throne. Okay, Zozi, if there's one thing you can guarantee that I will find in your handbag, what is it?
Just one thing. Okay,
thing.
you will definitely find in my handbag lip gloss or
One thing.
lip gloss.
Okay.
Because nobody likes ashy lips. I mean, come on. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mpoomy. Don't do it. What's in your bag that we'll find?
You know, sometimes, honestly, there's nothing in my. Honestly, I just throw the keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm really learning to be a lady. We could have a whole conversation and my lips are dry until you say, would you like to use some lip gloss?
Please don't do that in the future.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
take care
learning.
of that.
I'm
Let's take care of that.
Okay. Caster, what's the first thing that you do after winning a race? Besides your signature.
But you're depriving me now because that's the only thing that comes in my mind. But sportsmanship, yeah, because the minute I cross the line, what comes in my mind is my opponents. I have to congratulate them, you know, for finishing their race, and you know, for their courage, you know, to be there because when we run a race, we know that there will always be one winner and there will always be, you know, the number last. So
And it's always gonna be you.
It's always gonna be you.
no, even if it's not me, but you know, I have to congratulate each and every one, even if I'm number last. That's me, you know, that's who I am, and I do it for love of the game. It's not about me winning the race, but it's about, you know, being courageous to compete against the best, and that what makes you a champion. And what comes in my mind is just to congratulate them, yeah, just to say, hey guys, thank you for being here. Even if I won the race, of course, like, you know, they make you, you know, without them, you are not a winner. So you gotta congratulate them. You know, the same as Ozozi, you know, when they contest, you know, for you know, for those pageants, of course, you gotta acknowledge, you know, your opponents. You know, those people they were there to push you to be the best that you can be. So the main thing that comes in my mind, you will see, I shake hands to congratulate them before I can, you know, do my Cobra sign, does them and all those things. But just to appreciate, you know, their attendance. Yeah, that's the most, you know, the most important thing for me. That's what counts the most.
Love it. Zozi, one more question.
Yes.
What is your hidden talent? And you're not allowed to say singing because we know you can sing.
That's so difficult. You know, when your life is just out there, it's like people know everything. It's there's like nothing to hide anymore. My hidden talent.
I feel like it's your posture. Like that's a
talent. Is it a talent?
I feel like it's a talent.
I don't. Wow. I don't know, Mpoomy. I feel like we bear so much of ourselves that I don't even know what it is that I can do that people are like, okay, we didn't know that you can do that.
Yeah.
Let me sit on that one.
Okay,
we're still having a chat. I'll think about it.
Let me switch it up. What's one thing people don't know about you or misconception about you?
So one thing people might not know about me is that I am a little socially awkward and challenged. Because people see you on stages and you're performing
and you're confident
and naturally they think spotlight is your thing and you love it and you're a social butterfly, and I'm not, and I love to perform. It doesn't matter what space it is, but that's a stage. Intimate spaces are very different, and so I can find any confidence and courage in standing in front of millions of people. But I might struggle a little with 5 people in a small room.
Awesome. So just to get into the purpose of the day, we know that Lux celebrates women's beauty and really advocates for women's rights and being apologetic in your beauty. And Zozi, so I just wanted to understand and get into your experience. In the pageant world, I think already the pressure is times 10 of what we're experiencing on a daily basis. Did you ever find yourself, or do you ever find yourself having to almost defend your beauty and defend your hair and have to explain yourself for choosing who you are or how you look?
Absolutely. I think, when I first started and I won Miss South Africa, and then into Miss Universe, the conversations were, she's such a smart girl. Yeah. She's so smart. That's why, she's where she is. Miss Universe and Miss South Africa is not just about beauty anymore. It's just about, who you are holistically.
The whole package.
And I would be like, that's great. You are absolutely right. Yeah. I am that. I am a smart woman. I'm intelligent, but also I am a beautiful woman as well. And I feel it's like a very backhanded compliment, because there's something about being a successful black woman that people always want to look for something. She has to be very, very special in order to be where she is. Whereas if you're anything else, any other race, it's like, oh, she's obviously, it's like automatically she's Miss Universe. Automatically, she's Oscar celebrated as an actor. Automatically, she's successful as a singer. But then if you're black, it's like you have to explain how did you get there? Why are you there?
Who do you know? Who are your connections?
And I'm sure that this is something Caster can relate to as well, because this is why she's in the position that she's in, and people are tearing her apart. Is because how dare you, as a black woman, be this great? We have to find unapologetically so we have to find these small things to discredit you for being where you are. And so of course I've had to defend myself. I've had to defend my beauty, to say I belong too. I mean, I'm enough too to be in this position that I'm in. But I'm always grateful that it was me. At first, it hurts because it's like, oh, but then I'm like, no, it's actually fine. Because then it allows for the next generation of women to not go through what it is that I'm going through right now. Because when the likes of, Osisbatisana Kumalo came into the picture, and then we have those women who, started paving out the way. I mean, in 1993, we had Jackie Mufokeng, who was the first black woman to win Miss South Africa in 1993. Can you imagine how tough?
I wasn't even born.
Can you imagine how tough it was for her to be in that position at that time? But it was so much bigger than that moment. It was for this moment today now, of me sitting here and saying it was because of those women that I am. And I guess it's because of who Caster is that the future women of tomorrow don't have to fight what their bodies look like in order to be able to be, the superstars and be in these spaces.
And I want to just tap into judgment, especially going to hair. I mean, yes, we've evolved. With the hair situation, we all went through, we chopping our hair, and
you look
normalized.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we normalize it, but I mean, you're global. It's international, and walking on stage with your Afro textured hair, whereas you have the option of just saying, this is the status quo. This is how things are gonna be. Do you have to deal with a lot of judgment with your when it comes to your hair, and also the behind the scenes of getting ready?
Yes.
Can they handle your hair, or is it the conversation where you constantly fighting that, hey, this is my hair, it's different, it has to be handled a different way, I don't want it to look this way, I don't want it to be changed this way, etc.?
So I mean, you'd be surprised, 2022 now, and I still struggle very much with having people to have an understanding that, first of all, I need a hairstylist. They don't get it. It's like,
it's just like, you just need a brush.
Wake up, brush your hair, and you're there. So I've walked into sets. And really, it's wild. I've walked into sets where so they send in, you know how they'll send you a brief of what the shoot is going to look like.
Yeah.
And it will say Zozi makeup.
It's like,
there's never hair. And I'm like, where is the hair person for this shoot?
Yeah.
Because I mean, for Miss Universes, I did my own hair for that as well, going onto the stage. I had to prep and I had to learn how to make my hair look right before the night, because I knew there's no one ever there to understand, you know, the hair. And so, yeah, there is still a lot of, we still have a long way to go when it comes to that department.
Sure. Caster, back to you, and just speaking about judgment. I mean, I think your life changed in 2018, not just your career. Your life changed where you were excluded just because of who you are. And how did that moment, in fact, actually, let's start by saying, for those who don't know what's happening, what you're going through right now, what changed in that year specifically? What changed in your career, and what changed in you as a person?
I think with me, it's fascinating because I would say my life has changed, you know, when I was still a little kid, because I've experienced, you know, a lot of judgment, you know, from, you know, young age, you know, as far as I remember, you know, from age 5, I had, you know, to defend myself, you know, for people, you know, to understand that, look, I'm a girl, because I played, you know, in men's sports most of the time, like, you know, football, you know, running around, you know, with boys. So with me, I think this has been a challenge as long as I've ever lived, you know, in this world. And yes, my entire life, I would just say my entire life, it has been a challenge. But I would not say it was more affecting because I understood, you know, myself. I understood, you know, what I'm about and what I want and where I'm going. I think those are the points where people need to understand that, you know, you got to stand for yourself before any other. And come, you know, 2018, you know, when the rules, were officially, you know, bestowed them, I was like, I knew it was coming. And I remember I told my manager about it. I'm like, you guys don't know what's coming, even my legal team. And I told them, look, these people are planning, you know, to make sure that they get rid of us, and you guys gotta be prepared for it. And, you know, with me, you know, judgmental became a norm for me, became something that I get used to, and be like, look, I know I'm different, and look, I love myself, you know, for it. And most of people say it's difficult to handle because from where we coming from, you know, as you know, brown skin colored people, and where, you know, we were, you know, we are discriminated, you know, coming from you know, apartheid era and stuff like that. And you become, you know, you have that low, you know, self-esteem, and you end up, you know, just, you know, giving up your life and not fighting yourself. But I'll not say it affected me in a way that is bad, but I'll say it has encouraged me to be a better person, and always, you know, stand for what is right, and, you know, fight, you know, for the young upcoming, you know, girls. And people say you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm just I always say I had to learn the importance, you know, of loving myself, and that has always been an issue, you know, with you know, we, you know, young, you know, or black, you know, women, you know, coming from, you know, rural areas, because you get to the cities,
Sure, yeah.
and people will tell you who you are. You know, yes, it has always been a case. But for me, I would say it has been a learning curve to say, look, with colony being now, a free country, people need to understand, their rights, and need to understand that, look, you belong. And it's not going to be about, what other people say. I always, tell, the young kids, say, look, and other people's perception of you has got nothing to do with you, and correctly is right, because for me it has always been about self-love, self-respect, self, acceptance, accepting myself that the way I am. And it makes my life easier, because I really don't care, about what people, think, because I know myself. I know, I'm masculine. I know I have a deep voice. I have a barrel chest, and it's beautiful. I love being special, and people don't understand that the beauty in you, is your soul. How you see life, how you can change, other people's, perception of you, but just make them understand, like, we are all human. If you're going to categorize, we all know that it's a women and men. And if you're gonna live by that, let alone my personal life, how I live, where I'm coming from, where, the race, those things, people need to understand that. But with that ruling, it made me realize that, as we were segregated, that will never change. It will remain, because if you look at Africa as a whole, we are still segregated. And if you look, how we treat each other, it's bad, in a way that I see a fellow African as my enemy, instead of seeing, my brother or my sister. So that's why I'm saying that if we're gonna go into detail about it, it becomes a problem that, you'll always have to prove yourself that I am woman enough, to belong into this world. And for me, it gave me, courage to make sure that I fight, for my rights, and but also for those who cannot be able to, to be vocal about it. And look, life is great. I'm not gonna lie. The situation has made me valuable. I always call myself a MVP, because I'm never out of, people's tongues. I'm always in conversation, and people need to understand that. People need to understand that the more they talk about you, the more important you are. So they gotta realize that. And look, this case has been, a great deal for me, and I thank, those people who are trying to keep me out of, competition, because they made me wise. They made me start understanding the world, how, operates, understand how human behavior, how I would say, how a human operates. And I would say it opens, other doors. They try to shut others, but other ones are open. As much as, Steve Harvey always say, if, one door is closed, just walk through the door, the wall, other, doors will be open. It's always, the case. And I'm trying to teach, the young women, to believe in themselves, never to depend on what worlds think, how they should look like. As much as Zoe said, her hair, people don't understand that, she needs a hairstylist because it's short. They think you just need to just, rock up, into the pageants, and then that's it. No, she needs to look good. She's beautiful the way she is, and people need to understand that, and then they understand that there's power in her, that she accepted, her look. She did not need to change, for the world to accept her, but she had to be herself for her. People need to understand that. So with me, with this situation, I always tell people, look, don't worry about what media says. You gotta have to worry about my response. If I don't retaliate, that means it's not important. But if I'm going to voice out, that means I want you to be aware of the surroundings, to be aware of what's going on. And that's how beautiful it is. So I'll say yes, I might behave like I'm not from this planet, but people need to know that I was made for this.
I actually wanted to touch. I listened. I heard you speak about there was a time. I don't know if it's one time, but your father actually bought you dresses and said,
Yeah.
"Why don't you try on some
Yes.
dresses?" And you said, "Well, why don't you try it on and show me? If it looks good on you, then I'll wear it." And I can imagine you were young when that was happening. But where did that self-awareness come from? Because I think what may seem complicated to other people about you is that yes, you're a woman, but you're muscular. The way, and you spoke about this, that you know that you walk differently, you know that you have a deeper voice. But I mean, I guess from the other person's side, it's just like, okay, do we mention that, or do we? So where did you find that self-awareness and that confidence to say, hey, look, this is who I am. I'm accepting. I love it, and I'm going to make the most of it.
I think it comes within you. You don't have to be trained to accept yourself. I think it comes with the love you have for yourself. But I think the most important thing come with the society and your family. I think with me, it has always been the case that people don't understand me and they misunderstand me. But my family and the society has been a great, support system, because um, they had never questioned, me for being who I am. They loved me for who I am, and that was special. And it made me a celeb kid, in the village, because everyone talks about me. And I'm like, okay, if everyone talks about me, you know, and then remember me now, I grew up in those era where, the TKZs, Zolas, the late Brenda Fassis, and, that quieto, vibes. I'm like, I started comparing myself, with those people, because when I play football, it became, a norm that it's all about me, running, it's all about me, playing in the streets, everyone, want to be part of me. And that, has, made me the great and the better person I am today, because then I realized, look, if you accept yourself for who you are, and each and every day when I wake up, then I look at that mirror, whatever I see, whatever reflects there, that's me. And it don't matter who think or I look like a guy. I know, man. I know I look like a boy. What? Why does it bother you? You understand? I always I always ask those questions, and then I'm like, my status, my relationships, who I'm dating, who I'm married to. I don't think it has got it has got nothing to do with anyone. It's just my personality. Let alone that, people need to understand that, okay, what change are you bringing in the society, what's good in you. People need to understand, that those are the things that matters the most. And with me in the village, it was just like, oh, people love me, let me be me for me, because at the end of the day, if I'm gonna be myself every time, going out there, I don't care if I'm wearing shorts vest, I don't care if my shoulders are broad, that bigger than male. That's genetic, you can't change it. And people need to wake up and live their life, and then for the fullest. With me, man, life is good, I'm not gonna lie to you. I enjoy each and every moment. And when people start questioning my gender, I love it. I mean, I'm like, hey, self-confidence, like I said, is just within you. It's just a matter of you surrounding yourself around right people, people with positivity. And but then growing up, remember, then I had to study psychology. And then when I add up things, I was like, maybe my mom's and my dad's, my siblings have prepared me, for this day, and I appreciate that. So, but this confidence, I would say, it comes, from where I'm coming from, the village. The society has made sure that they protect me in everything that I do, and they understood me, and I understand them, and the connection is like massive. And whoever outside feels like they're threatened, I always tell them it's your business to deal with. I'll deal with my business. And what I do best is to make sure that I encourage each and every individual. It does not matter what age. Just be positive in everything that you do, and God will handle the rest. But I'll say my confidence comes from society and my family. They played a big role in that.
Love it. Zozin, how's your relationship with self-confidence and insecurities?
It's a very interesting one because you would think, Miss Universe, and you always have it together 100% of the time. But I have my days, because words do hurt to some extent. As human beings, sometimes there's things where you're just like, okay, this is a lot. And this is what I want people to know as well, that it is okay sometimes to wake up and feel like you're not at your most confident, because I don't think anyone ever truly is 100% at their most confident. There are times when I've woken up and I look at myself and I think, even if it was mid-competition, am I really, strong enough to be here? Do I really belong here? I mean, these are things that I've heard from people and they live subconsciously in your mind. And, the mind is the biggest. I mean, it could be the best or the worst thing for you, because
it literally dictates what happens. It dictates
whatever it is that happens, And so that's my relationship with confidence. I know that I am an intelligent, beautiful, and talented woman. I know this 100% because it's something that I tell myself every day. I'm very big on self-affirmations. Huge. But then sometimes I just wake up and I feel like, I don't know. I don't feel my best. I don't feel beautiful today. I don't feel smart enough or talented enough today. I mean, it's something that you constantly have to work on.
It's when not a once in a while. You literally
you work on it.
Every day.
When young women ask me, Zozi, how do you stay so confident? It's a work in progress. It's ever evolving. You have to constantly practice it. It's a practice. Actually, you have to practice it. You have to self-affirm, surround yourself with people that love you. Like Caster. It's such a big one. I also come from a family of love. I always tell people, I will never lack in love. That's why I grew up with love, and I know what it feels like to be loved and to be accepted, and so I never really need it externally, from anyone else, because I know I have it. And so that's my relationship with confidence, is to just keep it a relationship. Work on it. Wake up every day and talk to yourself and talk yourself into it, and you should be fine. So I hope that this is something that people learn watching this, and to know that Miss Universe
has her own thing.
Is not always confident, but she knows her self-worth. And that's like the most important thing.
I think what I took from both your stories is the community, the surroundings. And I mean, just personally this year, and one of the reasons why I just went back to cutting my hair, and because I work so much on social media, it's content creation, and you obviously have to, I don't want to use the word portray, but let me say, for lack of a better word, portray like you've got it together. You have to do your makeup, your hair has, and eventually I found myself in this place, like, do I even still like how I actually look? And I just decided, I'm actually just going to cut my hair. I want to look at me, and I want to be happy with me, and I want to be okay with me. But like you said, it's an ongoing relationship, because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I need all my wigs back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right? And sometimes I wake up, I'm like, okay, I like you. I'm happy with where you are. But just to continue, Zozi, listening to Caster's case, and obviously because you work so close, you're part of the Lux family. How has it affected you, just as from woman to woman, and personally, can you find yourself in Caster's story and Caster's journey? And I think it's important to mention, I love what Caster said, that don't feel sorry for me. But I mean, before she said this, I was just like, how are you even dealing with this?
Absolutely. For me, like I said, I did say earlier on that Caster's story is a story of a South African woman. It's a story of an African woman. It's a story of a Black woman.
Yeah.
One way or the other, society is just trying to make sure you don't make it. I always say the world was built for us to fail. It was never meant for us to make it. And so for Caster to be where she is, this global champion, it's making people mad.
Yeah.
Because like I said, how dare you coming out from this village that you come from? How dare you be this talented and confident? And I think that this is a story that most of us can relate to. And that's how much, just watching Caster's journey has also shaped my life in understanding that I belong in every space that I walk into. Yeah. Because they will make you feel like you don't belong in that space. They will constantly remind you that you do not belong in the space. And you do.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we can learn from this. And I think that's what Caster wants us to learn from this, to take out from it. And that's why she is fighting what she's fighting. Because I think it's so much more than just you, Caster, if I'm understanding. I think as you go, it's much bigger. As you go to these courts to fight, it's not for you. It's not for you anymore. It's just thinking forward about all the other people who are still going to walk this journey that you walk in, so that it's just a little bit more softer for them than it is for you. I love to reference, when I think about those women marching to the union buildings, let me just say at that time, for all our rights.
Yeah.
I don't think it was about them.
No.
They definitely knew it was a sacrifice for what is to come.
Yeah.
And so, again, getting back to Caster's story, it's about people who are going through similar things that she is, but also people who are going through different struggles but can still relate to that and know that it's possible, and this spaces are mine too, and I can do it too. And so that's why I'm inspired every day.
I was actually reflecting on Women's Day, that actually every year Women's Day I'm out here, Women's Day, but what does it really mean? And I sat down and I realized the fact that, like, when I left school, for me it was automatic that I'm going to varsity, I'm going to get a car, I'm going to get this job, I can start a business and a bank account. And then you realize that was not always the case. Someone had to stand and be the sacrifice. And that's exactly what I think Caster, your journey is all about. That, look, I'm getting the beating right now, but in the future, for women who look different, women who are unique, can just be part of just because of who they are. And I just wanted to ask, through all of this process, and especially in the beginning, as much as you anticipated, was there ever a time where you thought, actually, I don't need this. I can just do this sport or try this out. I don't have to fight for this. You had already won title, so why continue?
Look, through my experience, it was hard. At the beginning, because you must know that this started back in 2009, and I had to make decisions that work for me, and I'm not proud of those decisions, because I had to go through that hormonal therapy, because for me, I had to do it. I had to run. I don't think if I didn't do that, I could have been here today. So things happen for a reason. And then for me, I don't want these young girls go through what I went through, because this is not healthy. First, it's not right, and you can't force people to take drugs not willingly. So it has to be something that is being dealt correctly. And looking at all people who are affected, the reason why I fight is because people who are affected are Africans. And it disappoints me to see most of African leaders who are in the very same organizations, they are doing nothing, just there. They're just they're sitting, and that that breaks my heart, to see young, talented girls, being, excluded, from, competing in their respective events. Yes, and for me, I think it's all about that. It's all about fighting for what's right, and always, make sure that, the next, upcoming generations, like you said about the sacrifice, this more for, sacrificing yourself to fight, for other people. And of course, there was a time where, I feel like it's useless, for me to fight authorities, while I know that they'll never be in my favor. But then the other mind says, look, it's all about, educating people, also making sure that people are aware of, situations, people are aware of what's going on. People are aware that there are still, those men who think, power is everything or money is everything, you know rather than, focusing on, humanity. And with me, yeah, I've won everything that I ever wanted, but now it's all about me, being able to compete, from those, three events. It's about, opening doors, for those who are, in my same, condition, and that, they are not vocal, they cannot say anything for themselves. So I stand for what is right, and what I believe in, is what other people believe in. But because they are not vocal enough, they are not courageous enough, to fight, those authorities. And I gotta do it, for them. And for me, if I can get the closure, I know it's a long walk to freedom, but if these people, they think we are about to stop, I will not stop, because I want what's best, for those young kids, especially who are coming from, disadvantaged background, and they have no voice, they can't say anything. And for me, I think it's all about that, nothing much. If I were to say it's about me, I'll be lying, because I've been in this game for, over a decade. I've achieved anything I ever wanted. You name it, world champion, Olympic champion. If I round it all, I'll say, all major titles. I do all have them. So I cannot say I need anything. For me, it's just all about, inclusivity. They need to include people to compete as they are, as much as men are not questioned. You can never hear, anyone, questioning, male counterpart. Say, look, you have a great, structure. You look at the Michael Phelps, his arms are wide. You look at the basketballers, they're very tall. They still can, play easy like that. But comes a woman, when a women are different, are unique, genetically, then it's a problem. So I think that it needs to stop. That's why we're taking this fight to another level, to the, human courts, human rights courts, So, but if we fail there, then I'll say the world has failed women, because if we're going to let, no, they did not fail me. I'll say they failed women as a whole, because we women, we've been failed by them, because they made authorities. And what disappointing is that even women that are, in those panels, they will still rule against women. And you start, asking yourself, what do we have to do, we as women, to support one another? You know, to empower, one another. You understand? Those are the things that make me, fight, these fights, because there's still a huge gap, between, women and women, in terms of supporting, in terms of empowering each other. Because words don't describe anything, but only actions can make me, believe that there is support. But only when you just saying it, posting it on social media, means nothing to me. I want to see actions. The same as, our political brothers. Don't say it, act upon it, and then we respect you. So, but if you just go to be saying, we supporting you, no, 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 no. You gotta show it. If you show it, then we start respecting you. But with me, I've taken this fight, for over a decade, and I still believe it can be done, in the right way. So we just have to try our best to make sure that these young upcoming, young girls, they don't face what I face. So for me, I think it's all about that, because if I'll be saying much about it, I'll be lying. I'll be seeking attention, which is not me. I just want to be there for them. I just want to be there to make sure that they are protected and they are living, a happy life. Because now, when I talk, as I speak now, there's thousands of kids that are affected, and they can't do anything about it. And it's up to us, those who have experience and knowledge in terms of educating people about accepting, what's what's truly, life is. We gotta do it. It's not like we changed ourselves to be, like this. It's just genetic. And in the court, of human rights, yes, they need to, make sure that they rule in a good, in our favor. If they don't, also it's their business, because it will be a joke, uh, honestly, to say now you're going to rule a women, and then you're going to turn women, against each other. So that's what I feel. But then we're trying to educate these young ones to be confident enough to be vocal. The more vocal they are, the better, the life becomes.
Sure, and you spoke about taking action, and I love the Born This Way campaign that Lux has initiated. And just in case the audience is wondering how you can show your action, I mean, we can't all make big signs, but we have a way where you can contribute towards your case. I know Lux has already, I think, contributed 350,000 rand towards your case. So we do have a link in the description box, and if you do want to donate, please join the cause, share your money, share the link, tell other people all about it. So coming back to you, Caster mentioned something about the confidence of a man, and it's something I always talk to my husband about, especially because we've got a daughter and a son, right? And I'm very intentional about the way we raise them. And what I've noticed is that with men, they can do the bare minimum and be boastful and confident, but with women, and it's really such an important thing for me, why don't we have the confidence? Because we are qualified, we probably are doing much better, we can, but we want to hide, we want to pretend like we can't, we're not good enough.
I would say the biggest issue is that we just live in a world that's built on patriarchal systems. That's the first problem. The biggest problem. And so when you come into this world, it's a world that's just already telling you as a woman that this is your place. Right? And there's also a lot of internalized patriarchy and misogyny as well.
That's probably the biggest one, the internalized one.
Absolutely. Because here you are growing up in this world that's telling you that this is the way. I mean, if you look at how women are evolving, we were talking about Gen Z earlier on. There's a huge difference between Gen Z and us millennials. And there's a difference between me and my mother. And there's definitely a difference between me and my grandmother. In how we perceive the world. And it's just, that's where that confidence comes from. I mean,
how do we do better? How do we make sure? Because that's always my intention with every speaking engagement, with every video that I do, every conversation is, how do I make
How do we change?
How do we change? How do we instill that confidence that Caster has to say, this is me, I belong, I'm good enough.
Again, it's an everyday thing of one community, family, yourself, the language. This is what I was about to say. There's so many different ways for us to inject this world that is accepting of women, and it starts in our homes, it starts in our schools. I always say, you just said you try your best to make sure you raise your kids in the best way possible, and home is the biggest foundation, because the boy that you're raising today is tomorrow's man, you know. So if you start instilling these principles, you know, things like consent and just viewing women as equals, this is something that he's going to grow up with. Continue teaching people around him as well. It's the small things. What conversations are you having in a braai?
What conversations are you having at
when you're having wine and drinks and you're sitting and you're chatting? Are you calling people out for their problematic ways? Are you calling your friends out?
Our parents.
Are you calling? I was about to say, are you calling your family out? Your sister? You know that problematic brother that you have?
It starts there.
Do you let them stay problematic? And so that's how we change the world, you know, smaller and smaller. I do a lot of projects with the United Nations, especially, you know, UN women programs. And we speak a lot about intergenerational conversations. You know, like I said, there's a difference between generations, my grandmother and myself, because sometimes they don't understand, like, how much we have come to see the world now. You know, sometimes you have to sit them down and say, you know, Gogo, I don't have to, like, kneel down and bend backwards and forwards for my husband. I can't do that. Both my husband and I wake up at 6 a.m.
This is an actual real conversation I've had to have with my grandparents.
It's the thing. We wake up every day in the morning, get the kids ready. We both go out to work. We both come back tired. It's just you know, it's not the same anymore. You know, if you look ages ago, a man's responsibility was to go out and you know, get the bacon. It made sense for that time ish. I still don't think it made sort of ish. You know,
very political.
You go get the bacon. You know, I'm being a homemaker this entire time. You know, and it's fine. But now it's like we both
have to make the home.
Doing stuff. I mean, let's you know, and so. These conversations are important. Have them at home. Have people see that the world is changing so much, and it's in the language and how we speak. So that's how we dismantle the patriarchy.
I love that. Caster, in closing, if there's one, I think in just one short sentence, what do you hope to achieve with this conversation, with this case, and with your life?
I think personally. What I want to achieve is that I want people, you know, to educate themselves, you know, about, you know, self-love, you know, self-awareness. You know, this is all about, you know, self-love because, you know, where I'm coming from, I come across people with, you know, they have low self-esteem, but I always tell them, guys, this is all about self-love.
Thank you, Caster, for sharing so much about self-love. And Zozi, for you, in closing, what message would you like to leave for young women who want to go out in global platforms and just even try something that seems impossible to dream, even in their uniqueness and in their self-acceptance? What last words would you like to leave them with?
You know, if you are a dreamer, and if you work hard, and if you believe in yourself, and if you constantly do that, there's no way to fail. I always say this. The universe and God and whoever it is that you believe in is working for you within that. And so it's all about consistency. And even on days when you wake up feeling like I'm giving up on this, it's not happening. If it's truly something, there's no way that you can put in that much work and that much belief and that much faith and you don't get anything back.
100%.
There's no way. And it just might not be what you think you want. It might come out in some other form or way, because sometimes we think we know. Sometimes we think we want things, and it's like, actually, if you maybe like turn your head a little, there's a small crack open there, and somehow life will always lead you to where exactly you need to be. And so every moment, every situation, every step of your life is preparing you for one big moment, for that one big moment that you want. And so my most important thing is to say there's going to be many no's, so many. I can't tell you how many I've heard. But then the beauty about that is that you only need one yes.
Just one yes.
Just one. Just one. And you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And when you do, it's going to be
glorious.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just my message today, to pay attention also. Pay attention to the universe. Pay attention to your prayers and whatever it is. It could come in different forms. It's out there.
Yeah. I love how honest you were, and firstly in saying the consistency thing.
You can't just dream.
Consistent, and you were honest in saying there's going to be many no's, but you just need one yes. And another thing that I really love that you said is that pay attention. Sometimes you think this is for you, and this is something personal for me where I thought this is what I want, and then I realized actually no, this is not what I want. But I do have to end the conversation. I can't believe it's been an hour already, and this has been really amazing. And firstly, I just want to say thank you to Caster's supporters, and then I also want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today, and a big thank you to Athlete Ali, who has partnered with a global team of advocates and attorneys in support of Caster's continued legal battle against discriminatory policies targeting women athletes with differences in sexual development. And most importantly, a heartfelt thank you to Lux for advocating for all women and proudly standing with Caster in her fight. And you too, on the other side, can join us and share your generosity by simply clicking the link, sharing the link, and making sure as many people as possible get to see this conversation, just to have a little understanding of not just the athlete who was banned, but Caster the person, Caster the woman, Caster the mother, the human being. And thank you to you, Zozi, for taking
Thank you so much. I had the best time.
Thank you so much. I mean, I know next week you're in this country, like you're globetrotting, but you made time for this important conversation. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you to Lux. And like I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and do share this video. Make sure as many people as possible get to watch it, and click the link. Donate as little as possible or as much as possible. It's up to you, but let's support this amazing case. And just remember, like Zozi said, you belong, you're capable, and there's a yes just for you. I'm Mpoomy Ledwaba, and thank you so much.
Hi everyone, Caster Semenya here. Yes, I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one in this world who has been supporting my cause. This has been an important, conversation, and I appreciate, each and every individual who has been, part of my journey, starting from, Nike, Lux, Bridgestone, Discovery, and my lawyers, my legal team. They've been a massive support structure for me. And as I don't forget, the universe, my fellow South Africans, you have been a blessing to me. And may God bless you. I really appreciate it, and I've enjoyed, this conversation. And I hope you can learn from it. You can, take out points, from it. And as I mentioned, that this is all about, the next, upcoming generation. I'll say, salute. May God bless you.